I see that Paul Urban just punted the request for our chaplain service for today to Paula. So I'll ask Paula to do our invocation. Paula, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Steve. Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for you to lay your almighty hands on those in our prayer concerns today. The family of Justin Powell, the family of Steve McNeil, our friends and family at Silver Bluff who have taken quite a blow this week and last week from COVID-19. We ask that you continue to be with these people. Only you know what they need, and only you can provide what they need. And we continue to come to you in prayer to lay your healing hands on them and be with them in their time of need. And also, Lord, we ask that you lay your hands on the fruits and labor of this organization as we move forward in COVID-19 and beyond, and our planning and what we do for this community. We just ask for you to be present, to guide us, and guide us in a way that is beneficial to all in our community. In these names we pray. In these things we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Paula.
You're welcome.
Fred, will you lead us in the pledge and the four-way test?
Steve, Larry Leatherwood is a sergeant at arms this month.
Okay. Then Dr. Leatherwood.
I'm ready to go. Are you?
Yep.
All right, we'll start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the four-way test of all the things we say and do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And as Dr. Harp says, play ball.
Thank you, Larry. A few announcements. I got a notice just before or around lunchtime that the My Rotary program is going to be down until about the 12th of August. So if you've tried to update that, that won't be possible for another few days. I didn't announce last week, but we had a board meeting on the 28th of July, and the board approved paying $7,000 of the money that we owe to the foundation back to them. Jack Ewing and Chuck Brown have been working on trying to put together something we can do for a skills inventory process so that we can do a skills inventory of all of our club members. And you'll be hearing some more of that as we roll that out. And I guess the last thing is to introduce our District Governor David Waechter and ask him to induct our newest Rotarian, Heather Gates. David, I'll turn it over to you.
All right, Heather, it's great that you have decided to join the Rotary Club of Waynesville, and I would say to you that the Rotary Club of Waynesville believes in you, and that's obvious by their invitation to join their club. In you, they see a servant. They see a person who has a heart for service, and they see someone with the vocational and intellectual talent and abilities to contribute to their club. And they surely expect you to contribute, to be an active member, and to be someone that they can call upon to serve not only the community but the world. This is a very diverse organization. It's an organization in over 200 countries. I just in January was at an event with over 550 different district governors. Of course, that was back when we could all meet together, and and I admire you for joining this club in these turbulent times. But I think it's a testament to your flexibility, and that's going to be called upon as well. Now, Heather, one of the things that Rotarians value very much, and we've already covered it today, is the 4-way test of ethics. And we use that. You already have one. Good. All right. Well, I don't have to tell you what they are, but I will ask that you use that as your charge, and all that you think, say, and do. And go back to that 4-way test. You'll find that it's very useful. It's not just a guide, but it's a touchstone. With that, I would just hereby charge you to be a servant to humanity, to do good in the world, to follow the 4-way test, and to be a wonderful member of the Rotary Club of Waynesville. And I induct you as such. And if you ever have any kind of needs in Rotary, you could always call upon your club, but you can also call upon the district, and I'm here to help you. So thank you for joining Rotary.
You're muted, Heather. Still muted.
Our sound's not working.
Sorry, I have too much technology. I was double muted. I was just saying thank you for the kind remarks, and for the welcome to the Waynesville Rotary, the opportunity for connection and involvement and influence. It certainly is not missed on me that I'm a 3rd-generation Rotarian today also, which feels really special. I did luckily receive just today my dad's actual personal copy of the 4-way test, which I thought was not shareable. I've seen it in his office for as long as I can remember. So that feels very special, and I'm looking forward to serving with you all. So thank you.
Wonderful, Heather. We're glad to have you. John, thank you for sponsoring your lovely daughter.
Needless to say, I'm a proud dad, and she is the 3rd in my line. But I also found out from my wife Carrie that Heather's great grandfather was a Rotarian, and Carrie's father was a Rotarian. So on both sides of the family, she understands the 4-way test and what that means to the family. So I couldn't be any prouder.
So that makes her a 4th-generation Rotarian. Very good. Congratulations, Heather.
Thank you. Thank y'all.
David, thank you very much. And I guess we'll let you continue as our program today.
All right. Thank you. It is a pleasure to be with you all today. And you know how appropriate it is to induct Heather today as a member of your club. I don't know if all of you have seen the recent news that the very first president nominee of Rotary International is a woman, and her name is Jennifer Jones, and she's a fantastic selection. I've known Jennifer for a couple years now. I've met her at some events and whatnot, and she will certainly represent Rotary well, and she's got big ideas for improving Rotary's reach, expanding our reach. So it's appropriate, and it's also a testament to our organization that 4 generations of a family recognize that Rotary is something important, and that it has the values and provides opportunities in such a way that it's something to be passed down through families. I thank you, John, for that, and thank you, Heather, for accepting that charge. Because to me, I'll just tell you, before I get started on my presentation, I haven't had the chance to visit your club in person, so I should tell you a little bit about myself. I was born in Fletcher, North Carolina, so right over the hill from you guys. And I was born over there, and I attended West Henderson High School. Went to Appalachian State University. I met my wife there. My wife is a family physician in Morganton, and I am a general contractor here in Lenoir, where we live now. We have 3 children. They're 13, 15, and 18 years old, so it's a busy household. My daughter starts college next week. The kids are anxious to get back to school. It was a busy household, but we are a family of Rotary as well, and we do what we call a lot of rotarizing, and we rotarize a lot, and the kids have been part of that, and I believe very strongly, John, in involving family in Rotary. So I admire you, and I thank you for that. I think it's important. It's a call to arms for all of us to involve our families. With that, I'll just I'm going to try to, if you, Steve or Cecil, if you would, please let me share my screen so I can put this presentation up here.
All right. You should be able to now.
Now I've gotten better at this because I've done a few of these.
There you go.
These virtual visits, and there, I've even learned how to make it fill up your whole screen. Now you can also you can adjust your view of you can either look at me the whole time, which might be too difficult, or you can see different grids and stuff. So I'm just telling you that as a matter of information. Let me get back to the beginning here. This year is 2020, and so it's appropriate for us to think about vision. And I called Steve and his class of presidents the visionary presidents. Now, I didn't know that we were going to go through some of the greatest change. I knew we were going to change, but I didn't know we were going to have a pandemic, and it was going to become this beacon of change that it has become. But this is the year of visionary leaders, and I call it that for a reason. This class of presidents is rolling out the strategic plan. This strategic plan is a 5-year plan, and they're the first presidents. They're going to have to roll it out, and I'm going to talk more about it. But that's really where this came from. The year 2020, perfect vision, and the visionary aspect of rolling out a brand new strategic plan. Our president this year is Holger Knack. Holger is from Germany. That's not insignificant. This is the first time that a Rotary International president has come from Germany. And so you might think about that and realize that that is significant and important. Holger is just like all of the other RI presidents that I've had the chance to meet. He's kind and welcoming and intelligent and thoughtful, and he listens well, and he's interested in talking to Rotarians, and he's interested in serving humanity, and he's got a very big heart. And he has given us this wonderful theme of Rotary opens opportunities. And at first, I didn't really know what to make of this thing. But the more I got used to it and the more we talked about it, I thought, what a great thing, because it really does allow us to look at how all of the different things that Rotary does and what it does to help people. It's not just about opening opportunities for Rotarians, of course. Of course, it does. Rotary opens all sorts of opportunities for us as Rotarians, but it also opens opportunities for the people we serve. And as you go through this year, I hope that you'll think about this theme and how Rotary does open opportunities. And should we be so lucky to get the chance to be together again and have convened some events where we get to shake hands and give hugs. You know, I hope that you'll have the opportunity to meet Holger and to meet other Rotary presidents. If you see them at events, always take the advantage of that opportunity and walk up and meet them and introduce yourself. And I think you'll be amazed at how approachable and kind they are. That they must have a really good filter for finding just quality, nice people. Change is going to happen. It always, you know, change is the only constant, but it's going to happen. And we didn't know it was going to change so rapidly, but we must start to be the change that we want to see. Otherwise, things will change around us and leave us behind. Now, Paul Harris said we had to be revolutionary from time to time. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he said this in 1918 when they had the flu pandemic, but now it's totally relevant. I mean, we're having to meet by Zoom today. You know, we're hearing about the people that are sick and they're spreading the virus and don't mean to, and it's very novel, and we can't quite understand it. But it's forced our organization to change. And I think as I look at these changes that we're going through, I think that they're really good changes. I think that we're learning to be more flexible. We're pushing ourselves to embrace technology in new ways. And I think some of these things we're going to take along with us. We're not just going to leave them behind and you know, like we're going to, you know, at some point we're going to throw our masks in the trash can and move on. But hopefully we'll be able to keep things like Zoom to engage our members in creative ways. So this strategic plan I was telling you about, you see here, myself and First Lady Deborah, we're in Atlanta there, and that's in front of the vision statement. You might remember that last year, Governor Tiffany, she did a really excellent job of talking up this vision statement. And that was the first step for us all to get around this vision statement. Now we're looking at the strategic plan and how it relates. The strategic plan we have now is different because it wasn't something that was created in a boardroom somewhere. It wasn't just created by a few people who were trying to dictate which way we go. This strategic plan, whose architect was Stephanie Yurchik, our director, our actual director in Rotary for our zone, she actually had thousands of people surveyed and polled, both Rotarian and non-Rotarian. And they asked questions like, where do you think Rotary should go? What should Rotary be working on? What is Rotary? What does a Rotarian look like? And so they asked all these questions around the world of different people. And then over time, they developed these 4 areas that they focus on in the strategic plan. And really, it's like a 4-way test of strategic thinking for our organization for the next 5 years. So how do we increase impact? How do we expand our reach? How do we enhance our engagement? And how do we become more adaptable? Well, I think we got the last one down pat because we're all adapting today. I mean, here we are. I'm doing the governor visit. I'm sitting in Lenore. You guys are in Waynesville. We're adapting. I think we're doing just fine on adaptability. But how can we enhance engagement? And how can we increase our impact and expand our reach? So let me unpack those a little bit. To increase our impact, let's not just do projects and measure and say, like, for instance, let's go back to the project where Rotarians planted trees a couple years ago. You remember that? We all planted some trees. So we all planted all these trees, and I don't know, some millions of trees were planted. And then all those wonderful trees, I hope that all of them are alive and growing well today. But like, what was the impact? What did that do? How did it put more oxygen in the air? Did it provide shade to school children? What was the impact? And so we can do a better job when we're doing projects to think about how are we measuring not just what we did, but what was the impact of what we did. And when we start to do projects, or we start to recruit members, or do a new social, or anything we do, let's ask ourselves, how do we increase our impact with that? If we're going to expand our reach, we're going to have to go beyond our comfort zone, because we're doing what's comfortable. We're doing what is natural and normal to us. But if we want to expand that, we want to get into new areas, we want to serve new populations, or we want to get members from different areas, we're going to have to expand our reach, and we're going to have to ask, how do we do that? And so it's going to be different for every club. You know, every club is a mirror of its community. And to be able to expand our reach, we're going to have to think not just how we do that in our own communities, but how we do it globally. Our enhancing engagement. I'm going to talk about new club models in a little while. I'm going to talk to you about how we can mix things up a little bit and expand. We can expand our reach and increase our impact with new club models. But, you know, we can make things more interesting. We can have programs that are more interesting. We can find out what our club members want in a program or want to see in a meeting. And so you can start to survey people and ask them in a non-consequence manner of what do they want to see out of Rotary. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the value of Rotary. So all of that will come together for you. But this isn't just something that President Steve's going to do this year. He's not the only one that's going to, he's to ask these questions. And he's going to continue to ask these questions all year long. But next year, he's going to pass the torch to Jeffrey. And Jeff is going to pick up that torch, and he's going to ask these questions. And then after 5 years of doing that, our organization will be better suited and better prepared for the changes we're going to go through. Now, to lead this strategic plan, I'd just like you just to think for a second. You remember when you joined Rotary? And how different was Rotary then from now? And then think about 5 years from now. Is it going to be different? I'm sure it will be. And what about in 25 years? Like what's the Rotary Club going to be like when all my hair falls out and it turns gray and everything? And what's it going to be like for me? You know, I try to think about that sometimes. Like I don't want to be the guy that watches the lights get turned out at the meeting, you know, and that's the last meeting. I think this organization is worth saving. It's worth continuing the work we do. So I want you to think about how we're going to create the Rotary Club of the future. The value of Rotary. Value is a perceived benefit over a cost. So whenever you experience value, you're getting something, but you had to pay for it. So the value of Rotary, for me, and this is for me, the value of Rotary is I have an impact on the world around me. I'm learning all the time. I'm learning new things. I'm learning all kinds of new things in Rotary. I've learned how to be a better leader, for instance. And I meet new people and I make new friends. And those friends help me not just in my business, but they help me in my personal well-being. And they help me be a better servant so that when I want to do service projects, I have that network to call upon. Now there is a little bit of a cost. So I don't spend quite as much time with my family because I'm rotarizing, or I don't have as much time to get into shenanigans and trouble, so I don't do a lot of leisure time, and I have to spend a little bit of money. But for me, those three expenses are worth the impact, learning, leadership, and networking that I achieve through Rotary. And so for me, it's valuable. It's a very valuable thing for me. And I try to involve my family in it, and I have fun, and I think the money's well spent. So when people join Rotary, they see that value. They understand that there's value in the organization and being part of it. But think about when they leave Rotary. All of a sudden they've decided that, well, it's not as valuable as I thought, or I'm not getting as much out of it as I wanted. And so they leave Rotary. So we really have to do a good job when we're recruiting people, that we get the people that really see that value. And then it's incumbent on us as Rotarians to make sure that they continue to get that value. Now, this year you're going to hear more and more and more about diversity, equity, and inclusion. In fact, Jennifer Jones, she made a statement about this in her acceptance speech. You can find that on the Rotary.org. But again, your club is going to be representative of your community. And if it's not representative of your community, then you have work to do. And it doesn't mean that you have to go out and get one of every type of person or whatever. I don't want to get into all that. But I just want people to be mindful of it, to seek to have a diverse organization, to be welcoming and inclusive of all types of people. Have an open heart for those with a heart for service. If people have that heart for service, we want them in Rotary. We want to give them the opportunity to serve. I had 3 goals this year. Now, there are a lot of goals, and Steve, you know how many goals we have. He's got goals for foundation. He's got goals for membership. He's got the pink pages, which he does all those goals. So there's all kinds of goals. But for me, and for what I asked the presidents to do, I asked them to focus on these 3 goals. Innovative club models, especially community-based Rotaract, a membership pipeline, and recurring giving. Those are the 3 things I asked for. Innovative club models. You guys remember when we used to have 3 channels on TV? You remember we had like 4, 7, and 13, and that's all we could watch because that's all we could get, and you had to stand up and walk over to the TV to change the channel. You can remember that? Well, now we have cable television, and now we have Netflix and Amazon, so we can watch whatever we want to watch. Back when we had the 4, 7, and 13, I used to have Saturday evening. I'd be at Grandma's house, and we could watch Hee Haw or Lawrence Welk. I liked Hee Haw. Well, my grandparents liked Lawrence Welk, so they only had one TV in there, so that's what I had to watch. And if you didn't like it, well, go find something else to do. Well, that was the old days, right? That is like, I think of that sort of like a legacy club. Now, I'm a member of a legacy club in Lenore. I mean, we're a pretty traditional club. But what we also have is a couple of satellite clubs. And so instead of just saying, well, you choose Hee Haw or Lawrence Welk, and if they don't like it, then they have to go find something else to do. Then what you do is you start giving them more channels. So if we had a portfolio of clubs to offer, little small clubs, maybe 6 to 10 members, and you could have things like a little corporate club where there's a company and like you've got a half a dozen people and they really are interested in doing service projects. They want to be involved in Rotary, but they can't get away from the desk. So maybe they could just like have a little meeting inside their company, right there, their corporation, and they could be a small satellite of the Waynesville Club. Or a cause-based club. Let's say that they're all rallied around a certain cause. One of the great examples that I've seen is a veterans club. So there was a club, this was in Minnesota. One of my classmates formed this a veterans club where they focused 100% on veterans issues. And you didn't have to be a veteran to be a member, but you had to be interested in veterans. So it's a cause-based club, and you can put a cause around anything. It could be the environment, it could be water, it could be social justice, it could be veterans issues, it could be PTSD, it could be any kind of thing that you can imagine, any cause that's out there, and you can create a club around it. And so these are some ideas about how we start to move from the old VHS model to the cable television model, where people can get involved in the type of Rotary and the type of Rotarizing that they want to do. There's no wrong age to be Rotarian. I want to emphasize that, because I've heard a few times about, we need more young people in Rotary, and we do. I mean, that's clear. We need more people, but we don't want to forget that we need everybody, and there's no wrong age. So I want to emphasize that. With that being said, I want to also emphasize that community-based Rotaract can be a great way to get young professionals engaged in Rotary. Now, traditionally, we've done the Rotaracts where you're at the university or the community college, and so they go to school and they do Rotary, they do the Rotaract, but then after they're out of school, that becomes, well, that's something I did when I was in college. So we lose them for 10 or 12 years, and there's no real opportunity to plug them in to Rotary. So the community-based Rotaract, Rotaract Club does not have to be, it is not a rule that it has to be attached to a university. So it can just be its own kind of young professionals group that meets at the coffee shop or whatever, and they start serving humanity and doing the magic of Rotary. Recently, they allowed that Rotaract clubs can actually be the primary sponsor of a global grant. So we're going to start seeing Rotaractors at our grant management seminar. And we're going to see Rotaractors applying for district grants. So we're going to start seeing those kinds of things in the future. So I really challenge the clubs to try to think about a community-based Rotaract club. It's going to become a pipeline for your club, because when these kids, and I call them kids, but these young people, these young professionals, when they get to be 30, 32, 35 years old, they're going to look around the room and they're going to see, just like I did when I was about that age, like, wow, I'm a little bit older than all these guys. So they're going to say, well, maybe I'll go look at the Rotary Club of Waynesville, or maybe I'll go to Haywood County, or maybe I'll go, whatever. They're going to find a place to go to Rotary because they're going to be engaged. We have to give them a place to grow their family, their career, and their engagement in Rotary. Now, as far as members, I want us to focus on quality. And these aren't my words, these are Holger Knapp's. Quality, not quantity. Because if we're just getting people in the door, then we're not being true to our values. We need to get people who really have a heart for service and really understand what Rotary is all about. Those are the kinds of people that we need to get in, and focus on your quality. In Rotary, there are two sales cycles, and I'll boil this down for all you sales guys out there. There are two sales cycles in Rotary, and that's defined by the 2 moments where we send out invoices. Those invoices go out in July and in January. So in December and June, everybody updates their roster. And typically the roster will lose 12 to 15%. And a lot of that comes from things we can't control. It comes from people moving, life changes, people pass away, things happen. Sometimes people leave Rotary because they're frustrated or they don't see the value anymore. We can control that, but we can't control all those other things. Well, another thing we can control is feeding the pipeline with new people. So start now getting your prospects, cultivate them, get them onboarded, teach them what Rotary is about. Not everybody has the benefit of Heather, where she's seen Rotary her whole life, and so she knows what Rotary is all about. So, like some people that have never heard of Rotary, they don't know. So you've got to show them what Rotary is all about and cultivate them. Show them show them the way, model the way. And then before the holidays hit, before Thanksgiving hits, or, you know, right around Easter in the springtime, close the deal and get them in Rotary. We're going to do a couple of, first of all, in September, we've got coming up, we're setting the date probably this afternoon for a district membership summit. And we're going to be talking about some of these issues. And then these Rotary information meetings, Discover Rotary, they're called. We want to have a couple of those. And these would be places where there's no commitment. You don't have to go to a meeting. You don't have to do anything. You just want to go and learn more about Rotary. And so these types of Discover Rotary events are really showing a lot of promise. We're getting a lot more members through Discover Rotary than really anything else. The fastest growing district in our zone is in Washington, D.C., and they're the ones that created this Discover Rotary concept. So look out for some of that. It's not just a club to join, it's an invitation to endless opportunities. And when you see that, that's where you start to really embrace Rotary. Now, the foundation. I said the third goal was recurring giving. I want to emphasize recurring giving makes it easier on your foundation chair because they just get a report from RI that it just tells them that this money was given. And how does that happen? You go on Rotary.org, you have to sign in, and then you go to something called Rotary Direct. And at Rotary Direct, you can put your card number in there. It's totally secure. And then you get to define how much you give. So if you want to give $20 a month, if you want to give $10 a month, if you want to give $20 a quarter, $20 twice a year, whatever you want to do, and whatever's comfortable and feasible, then you can just put that in there in Rotary Direct. And this can be in addition to or whatever with what you're already giving with your club. It's a great way to do it because it frees you up to think not just about having to give to Rotary, because sometimes we keep it in the back of our mind. I know I used to, and then I think, okay, at the end of the year, I'm going to write a check. All right, so after I've bought all the Christmas presents or something, you know. But now with Rotary Direct, I just go ahead and it just comes right off my card, and I just pay it like it's just something I just do. And it's become very comfortable. And it's allowed me now to think more about these areas of focus and these areas that I want to give. So like I think, well, you know I do the Rotary Direct, so I got that covered, but maybe I want to give some to polio. So then I'm freed up to go and do that. Or I want to support a global grant that I heard about. So I can actually go into Rotary Direct and I can direct my money to that global grant. So it frees you up mentally to stop worrying about having to write that check and just do it. So I'm encouraging the recurring giving. If you need help with that, talk to your foundation chair or Inslee, Neil, or give us a call. We'll help you out. Now, I mentioned polio. I know people are weary of polio because we have been fighting this for a long time. And in fact, I'll tell you a little story. My daughter, we're talking about family and Rotary. My daughter's heard me talk about polio more than she wants. And she told me, "Daddy, can't you just stop talking about polio?" And I said, "Well, we can when we eradicate it." And she said, "Well, I wish they would hurry up and eradicate it." And I said, "Well, I'll tell them you said so." So here you go. A promise was made in 1985. Our organization promised that we were going to eradicate this disease from the planet. And we are standing on the shoulders. Now, I wasn't even a member, but I'm standing on those shoulders of those members who made that promise. And Rotarians keep their promises. And we're going to see this through. We're going to get to the end of this. We got it cornered on the border of Afghanistan and Pakistan. The cases are not that many, but the need is great. As you can imagine, that is a very difficult place to do this kind of work. So we've got to keep our mettle about us. We need to make sure that we finish this out and keep our promise. I'm asking everybody to do $40 and more if they're able. Now I want to tell you a little story about international service, because I talked a lot about the foundation. And when you give money to the foundation, you may know that money goes there and it sits for 3 years. It earns interest. They take the interest off and they use that for some of it for administration and operations. But then they take half of that money, that principal, half of that money, and they put it towards global projects. The other half of that money comes back to our district, and we do our district grants with it. We do our local service with that money. This year, we went from doing $44,000 in community service. This year, I upped the amount. We're doing $72,000 in local community projects in District 7670. I'm really proud of that. But I'm also proud of this experience that you see this picture of me. I'll tell you a story here. This gentleman was sitting off beside the street. I didn't even know what he was doing for sure. We were setting up this wheelchair distribution right there on the corner at the opening to this little barangay, they call it. It's a little community in downtown Manila, Philippines. Went on this trip with past District Governor Bill Biddle. I saw this gentleman sitting there being so humble and quiet and patient. We were unpacking the chairs and whatnot. And then once we got everything set up and we placed him in his chair, I felt compelled to go over and shake his hand. I just felt called to do so. And I went and I touched hands with him. And as soon as I touched his hand, he started crying. And I thought, oh Lord, I've hurt this guy. I've insulted him, or I've hurt his feelings or something. I didn't mean to do that. And I leaned over and I said, did I hurt you? And he said to me, no, you make me happy. Of course, at that moment, I started crying. So we cried together. And then we shared a smile afterwards, and he went away with mobility, and I came home with a heart completely filled with love. We both got gifts. There was opportunities opened for both of us. That is the story of international servants. You will hear that over and over again. When we do service in our local communities, many times we can have these experiences. But when you go to a place where people are so poor that the only opportunity they have is Rotary, it's a life-changing experience. So I ask you, find a way to involve international service in your club this year. I'll show you a few ways there. You can do a program. You can participate in a project. You might do a global grant. You might nominate or sponsor a Peace Fellow. But I encourage you from the bottom of my heart to get involved in this, because you will never feel so much love in your whole life as you feel at that moment. All right, so wrapping up. This year, the district conference will be in Asheville. I call it the District Conference and Family Staycation. So you can come and have a great time at the Crown Plaza Resort. Bring your families. We got the zip lines, we got the terrace, so you can hang out outside and enjoy the beauty of the mountains. We got a 9-hole golf course there. They've got tennis courts and racquetball, and they've got walking trails and mountain bikes. Lots of stuff for the family to do. While we also have a great slate of speakers and a good time of celebrating our year of Rotary. That'll be May 14 through 16. So put that down on your calendars, because I really hope that we'll be able to be together and do that. surely to God we're going to be able to be through with some of this mess by then. But if not, we'll figure it out, because that's what we do as Rotarians. All right. And then finally, this is the big one. My family and I hope to go to Taipei, Taiwan, to the international convention. This would be our 6th convention that we've been to. And you see, there's First Lady Deborah and I. That was a picture we took in San Diego when they were promoting the Taipei convention. Taipei, of course, is a city of the Orient. Be a very exciting time. I would really hope that we'll be able to go. And if you're interested in going, getting more information, reach out to past District Governor Jim Eflin. He's our chair for that. So that'll be June 12th through 16th. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that they have like almost no cases in Taiwan. So it might actually be like a reprieve. So, but anyway, with that, I wish you the best Rotary year ever. And I hope that we'll get to be together soon. I do hope that you'll invite me to your service projects, because I'd like to serve with you. I have a heart for service, and I love to serve with other Rotarians. And so if you have a project, please invite me, and you can always reach out to me. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them at this time. Thank you. You'll have to unmute if you want to say any smart comments or questions.
Are there any questions for District Governor David? DG David.
that are passionate about some mission project. Do you do that while you're in the larger group, or is that a separate club altogether? Just how is that administered? What are you suggesting here?
Okay, that's a good question, George. Thank you. Where did he go?
I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Okay, sorry. Everything moved there for a second. George, the way that works, there's 2 different ways. It could be a standalone. It could be. But typically, it would be very similar to the satellite model. So, for instance, your club might have would do the administration, the sort of the heavy lifting of the administration of it. But that club would have a chair, and they would those membership numbers would contribute to your club. They would be Rotarians, fully Rotarians, so they can attend any Rotary meeting, including your meeting. If there was any kind of logistical issues, like let's say we were back to having meals and such, and they did not do a meal, then you'd have to work that out. If they came to visit your club, you'd have some way of working that out. But they basically, there's kind of an autonomous group, but they operate under the auspices of your board.
Okay.
And I think that would be the best way to at least get them started. And then if they grew up to be, I think, something like 20 members or something, that would be a good club to charter.
Well, we haven't been growing in recent years. It may be the best way to grow, because as you stimulate activities that are based upon some cause, it gives more focus and clarity. Who knows? We'll have to think about it. I'm so comfortable with things as they are. I don't need to be challenged.
I know. I hear you, man.
David, do we have any predominantly African-American clubs, or what is the African-American membership? I know since I first joined Rotary about 40 years ago, we didn't have women back then, and they've added so much, but Do we in our district have any clubs that have significant numbers of African American members?
Um, hmm. That's you use the word like a significant number. We have some clubs that have, I would say, more diverse, and some that are less diverse. But the most diverse we have is probably not diverse enough to be representative of a community, and that is not an affront at all. I don't mean that to put anyone on the defensive, because it's not meant that way. It's meant more as just a recognition of where we're at. Of course, we've made great strides. We've made great strides, because we do have Black members. You know, we did, like you alluded to, we had no women, and I think it was 1987, I believe, and then we had our first woman, and it seems so kind of foreign at this point to think about that. No women in Rotary, with so many wonderful women as part of Rotary now. So I think we have growth potential. There's a lot of room to grow. We're having an event tomorrow. It's at 4 p.m. It's called Black Stories of Black Rotarians in District 7670. I don't do that. I've called this assembly for the purpose of bringing awareness to this question you're talking about. I have zero political gain or goal for that. It has nothing to do with that. This is a humanitarian thing. These people are telling me, the story I'm hearing from them is that they see Black people joining Rotary, but maybe we could do a better job of embracing them. That they feel like we are nervous and we talk around them, but we don't talk with them. And that's kind of the theme I'm hearing. It's not that they feel attacked or left out or anything like that. They just don't feel fully engaged. And I'm not.
David, we have about 1%, I think, of our population here. Only 1% is probably African American, and the Hispanics are maybe just a little more than that. Those people of you who are in work and in government would know better than I about that. I've started doing some things nationally with groups. I think with this virtual situation we have now, you could put something together so that there might be some partnering with clubs that do have African Americans, and particularly at a time that our churches and also our civic clubs need to be more open to racial reconciliation. So I would encourage you to consider that.
Yeah, well,
I was a member of a club in Greensboro that had the first African-American woman of any club in the nation, and she later became president of the club. I was in a club in Charlotte who had as its president for a year an African-American who was quite active and was a fabulous president and leader in the whole city of Charlotte too. So our problem is population here, but we're going to have to be creative and maybe more aggressive than we have been.
Very good point. Both of them. Both of you guys are spot on. I being from the mountains, I'm born and raised in the mountains, and I mean, it's a particular challenge because of what Paul's talking about, population, demographics, and whatnot. But and there are other forms of diversity besides color. So Rotary is the most diverse organization in the world, no doubt. We're all over the world, but particularly in our areas and where in the South, and there's room to grow. We can grow Rotary.
That's one of the challenges I've given to our membership committee. And one of those guys is still online with us, and Brandon Wilson. And he's very involved in Veterans Affairs and is trying to find a way that we can expand our influence and work with veterans some more.
That's awesome.
Any other questions for David?
Thanks for your program, David. Thank you so much. You're very active and we appreciate it.
Thank you, David.
Appreciate you. Everything you do. Thank you.
David, I forgot to have everybody stand up and applaud you when we got started. But that is the
Oh, you guys, that's all right. Don't worry about that.
and
John.
I enjoyed knowing David for the last couple of years, and very pleased to be serving with him this year.
As I am with you, Steve. Thank you.
If there's nothing else for the good of Rotary, let us go on to something else this afternoon. Thank you again, David.
Yes, sir.